Hello and welcome to the 2022 Quiz Funnel Workshop. My name is Ryan Levesque, five-time Inc. 500 CEO of the Ask Method Company, and I could not be more excited on behalf of the entire Ask Method team to welcome you to this special live, one-time only every year event. We are going to cover a lot of ground in this week-long Quiz Funnel Workshop. And I could not be more excited to welcome you here in our special time that we have starting today. Now, if you are ready, I'm ready. We're going to dive right in here just a minute because we've got so much we're going to cover. I want to remind you, make sure you've got something to take some notes with. Make sure you've got something to focus your time and energy and attention because we are going to get right into it here today. So with that being said, once again, welcome to our special session here today. I could not be more excited to introduce you to over 1,000 entrepreneurs and how they are using the power of quiz funnels to generate anywhere from $10,000 a month to $10 million online and everywhere in between, and 3 steps to use the same process to explode the growth of your own business and your own income in 2022. Before we get started, I want to introduce you to what we're going to be covering here today because I think it's always helpful to kind of get yourself primed, get yourself prepped for what we're going to be covering starting right here today. So in our session here today, we're going to cover first and foremost what a quiz funnel is exactly, what makes it different from both a traditional online quiz and a traditional online funnel. We're going to talk about how to know if a quiz funnel is right for you. This is one of my big goals for you today, to identify if a quiz funnel is right for you this year in 2022 based on your market, based on your business, and based on where you are in your journey right now. Whether you're looking to build your list and your audience, whether you're looking to generate cheap, qualified leads online, convert more of those leads into clients and customers, or if you're a complete beginner right now and you're saying to yourself, I don't even know where to start. I need like a step-by-step to take me from point A to point B. We're going to cover the 3 reasons why quiz funnels are so effective and the psychology behind it all. So if you're like a brain geek like I am, we're going to dive into the psychology behind quiz funnels. We're going to talk about the 4 types of different markets that are perfect for quiz funnels, 3 types of quiz funnels to choose from, and how to decide which one is right for you. We're going to talk about the 5 biggest quiz funnel mistakes that people make and how to avoid making them, 6 steps to creating and launching your very own highly profitable quiz funnel from start to finish. We're going to talk about the 5 questions in your quiz that you always want to ask, plus 3 types of questions you should never ask, 5 things that you could potentially sell after someone takes your quiz, the top 5 traffic sources that are working right now in 2022 that are best for quiz funnels, and 3 things to do differently with that traffic. We're also going to cover the 3 fastest paths to cash for beginners. In other words, how to use a quiz funnel to generate income as quickly as possible. We're going to cover how to come up with the big idea behind your quiz. We're going to cover how to set up all the technology behind your quiz. And we're going to go through dozens of different examples in all sorts of different markets, from physical e-commerce products, digital online products, coaching, consulting, freelancing, local businesses, lead generation, affiliate marketing, and more. Now, I know you might be saying, whew, that's a lot. Take a deep breath. We're going to take things one step at a time. And this is what we're going to be doing here together over the next few days, starting here today. We're also going to talk about how to apply everything that we cover if you sell more than one product or if you sell a single product or service. We're going to talk about how to use this if you want to quickly grow your audience or email list. You want to generate cheap, qualified, highly profitable leads. You want to generate clients and customers online, or if you're simply looking for a proven step-by-step process that you can model. We're going to cover how to apply this if you've got an e-commerce business, like you sell physical products shipped to customers, digital products, courses, memberships, or software, affiliate marketing, if you sell other people's products as an affiliate. If you're in the client business where you work with a small number of clients, like if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're an agency, if you're a freelancer. We're going to cover how to use this if you are a local small business and you serve predominantly a local small geographic area, like if you're an insurance agent or a real estate agent, or you've got a local storefront in your town square. We're going to cover how to use this if you're just looking to generate leads, whether you're looking to generate B2B leads or B2C leads, or if you are a total beginner and you're starting completely from scratch. But before we dive right in, I don't know about you, but I always love to be inspired by the possibilities of what's possible. So what I thought I would do is, before we kind of get into it all and kind of get down and dirty and getting out to the good stuff, I thought it'd be cool to introduce you to some other men and women, entrepreneurs, business owners, total beginners, experienced CEOs, who are in the exact same spot that you are in right here, right now, not that long ago, who decided to take action and put into practice everything that they learned when they were sitting in your shoes, standing in your shoes and sitting in your seat right now where you are in this quiz funnel workshop. So with that being said, I want to introduce you to a few people that you're going to get to know a little bit better, to hear a little bit about what's been possible for them in their businesses. Let's check it out.
I have had almost 10,000 moms go through a quiz that has led them to a webinar that currently converts at 16%, you guys.
Not only does the quiz funnel work, but you also really understand your customer.
So I think you give people in quizzes an opportunity to understand who they are, which gives them like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that before. And then they'll like get really excited about it.
This quiz has all those powerful freebies that are like, those game plans, these strategy pieces, like it's got that, but it enables us to give people what they actually want from us, which is just, it's so much more powerful.
Because I want to talk to people and ask questions, and the quiz does just that. It is a beautiful way for somebody to find their way into the group, and especially for busy guys, because the quiz is so fast. And it's like, yes, we can help you in 2 minutes to make a difference to your kids.
It's the most powerful lead generating tool there is. Like, full stop. It just is.
In the first month, I went from a 5,000 email list to a 25,000 email list.
I gathered my first 10,000 plus leads in Bucket in less than 8 months.
20 leads a day to 233 leads a day.
We are now switching our entire homepage experience over to the quiz funnel because this is absolutely killing it.
And just got into the most beautiful flow of sales coming in every single week, because we were just in this routine of running the live webinar off the back of our quizzes.
So I have this funnel at the moment where I invest €1.5 and getting €7 back.
I put $5 in this quiz. I wanted to run on Facebook for a few days to see what the statistics would say. And the next thing I know, this quiz is achieving numbers that I haven't seen in a couple of years.
We're seeing about 17-cent opt-ins.
Whoa, time out. So you're getting email opt-ins, email subscribers for 17 cents.
Yeah, it varies. Pre-Ryan, I was excited about $6 opt-ins.
Once I met Ryan, I went from, being in the red to being in the black, and I actually tripled my income.
We were driving 3,000 to 5,000 opt-ins a day. We were doing an average sort of revenue day for us was $75,000 to $120,000.
As of right now, I'm over $18,000 in recurring revenue in my business today.
So yes, it's getting us lower opt-ins where we're actually adding more value to people who want what I have. Right? And to me, it's a no-brainer. And I wish I would have done it sooner.
So hopefully you are excited and inspired by the possibilities. Hear from just a few voices of people who are in the exact same place that you were in not that long ago themselves. But at this point in time, I want to hear from you. I want to know about you. And so along the way in today's workshop, there are going to be a series of questions, micro assignments, micro exercises. And I'm going to say it right now, the more you participate, the more you're going to get out of this experience. In fact, there are points for participation, and as I'll mention a little bit later, there are going to be some prizes. The more you participate, the better chance you have to win. So my first question for you here today is this, why are you here? What is your big reason for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here part of this workshop? What's your reason for being here? Are you looking to achieve a certain business goal in your business? Are you looking to start a new business from scratch? Are you looking to make more of an impact in the world? Are you looking to achieve more financial freedom? Maybe you're looking to quit your job and build a full-time income, allowing you to travel the world and live the life that you want with your family. Maybe there's a specific challenge in your business that you're looking to solve, like to get more leads, to get more clients. Maybe you found that what you were doing a year ago at this time on Facebook and Google and YouTube and LinkedIn and some of the places where you've relied on to generate traffic, maybe it's not working as well as it once did, and you're looking for something new and different. Well, I'd love to hear from you. My first question for you, the first micro exercise of the day is, why are you here? Be as detailed and specific as possible. Go ahead, post it inside the chat, and I'll read off a few of the reasons why you're here, why we're here together. And the reason why it's important to start here is as you start seeing the process, as we start going through these exercises, and we start doing the work together, it's important to have clarity on what your goal is. What's your target? What's your reason for being here in the first place? So I want to invite you inside the chat on the page that we have on the screen right now. Go ahead and take a moment to share what's your why? What's your reason for being here? Go ahead, and I'll take a moment to share it right now. Kristen says to grow my business. I'd like to get my quiz functioning, says Moira. To generate more leads, says Nagesh. Gary says to learn how to make a quiz funnel. Peter says to quit my job. I'm needing to find something that'll help start me a new business. Better be better at creating quiz funnels. Looking to generate more clients. Doug says affiliate and coaching. Alejandra says financial freedom. Looking to generate more leads. Looking to better sell my items, to grow my audience and expand my reach. Naomi says, I'm here to make more money. I love it. I love the honesty here. This is great. I'm looking to get more leads and find the questions to ask my quiz, says Marie. Carrie says, better experience for my clients. I'm here to get decent leads for my business, says Helen, and ready to start taking customers. I'm not in front of the right people. To see which type of funnel that I need. Sonia says, starting a business. Carol says, I'm here because I want to see how I can start selling and get more subscribers. So as we go through this process here together, I want you to keep front and center, what is your reason for being here? In fact, take a moment to write that in your notes. What is your why? Why are you here? Keep that front and center on the front of your minds. That way you can have that focus and level of just discipline to stay on top of what we're covering here today. To put the blinders on everything else and focus on why you're here, what your mission is for the day. Now, before we get into everything we're going to cover here today, I've got a few elements of housekeeping that are very important for you to get the most out of this experience, not only today, but through the rest of this week. So, first order of housekeeping is as follows. I want to mention, if you haven't already done so, that you want to join the private Facebook group where the conversation and discussion takes place in between the live sessions. You can join that by going to quizfunnel.com/Facebook. That's quizfunnel.com/Facebook. And as I hit the refresh button on my screen, you're going to see that so far there are almost 10,000 of us who have joined this Facebook group already. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and do that now because like I said, that's where the conversation is taking place in between the live sessions. It's been awesome seeing so many new and friendly faces, familiar faces, introducing yourself to get to know each other, learn a little bit more about what we're doing. I love seeing all the videos. I love seeing the photos. I love seeing all the different locations around the world and everything that's happening. So exciting to see so many of you here participating in this workshop. So make sure that you go ahead and do that. One of the big benefits of being part of this Facebook group is that we'll be doing some Q&A sessions, a chance to get your questions answered in between these live trainings. So it's all happening inside the group. And again, the link is quizfunnel.com/Facebook to join. So that's the first order of housekeeping that I wanted to mention. Second order of housekeeping is my private secret text message thread. If you haven't already joined so, you can do so by going to the link quizfunnel.com/text. At that special link, we have some cool additional free resources that we are giving away. Like, for example, I've got a list of 101 profitable quiz funnel ideas that I will just text to you on your phone when you join that text message thread. We've got some cool stuff like the visual guide to quiz funnels, as you can see right here, that will send you via text as well. The way you join the secret text message thread is super simple. You go to that link, quizfunnel.com/text, enter your email address and your phone number right here. Click the orange button that says Join Thread, and you'll start getting some of the goodies like that 101 Quiz Funnel Ideas bonus, which is going to be hugely valuable as we go through the exercise of coming up with the big idea for your quiz. That's quizfunnel.com/text. The next thing I want to mention, I alluded to this just a moment ago, but we are going to be giving away some prizes over the next few days here together. I'm going to be giving away some books, signed copies, first edition copies of books. I'm going to give away some Amazon gift cards. I'm going to give away some limited edition Kick-Ass t-shirts, kind of like the one that I'm wearing here today, and some of the other designs that you're going to see over the next few days. And like I said, the way you have a chance of winning is by participating. Anytime that there's a question, anytime that there's an exercise, anytime that there's an assignment, you participate inside the chat. And there's something that we're going to be doing all throughout our week-long time here together, and that is something that we call Hashtag Nugget. Hashtag Nugget works a little something like this. Anytime you hear something, or see something, or take away something that is an insight, an aha moment, something that just lights the light bulb up in your brain, go ahead inside the chat, type in Hashtag Nugget with what that observation is. It could be something big, it could be something small, it could be an example that's shared, it could be a tactical piece. Use Hashtag Nugget, post it inside the chat thread anytime that you got something. Again, the more you participate, the better chance you have to win. And the more engaged you are, the more active your brain is at not just passively receiving this information, but actively engaging with what we're going to cover, the more you're going to get out of this experience. So again, that's Hashtag Nugget. And you can go ahead and do it right here, right now. What is a nugget that you've picked up on in the first few minutes of our time here together? I mean, we haven't even got started, but if you're like the most observant people here, you've probably picked up on maybe a few meta observations, like the way that we do things here, the way that we start a few minutes early, the way that we make our announcements, the way that we use chat, the way that we get us all fired up for the work that we're going to be doing. Go ahead, use that Hashtag Nugget. This is like a practice nugget. Heck, it could be your nugget is using Nugget as an example. So go ahead inside the chat, take a moment to post your nugget. This is an easy one. Again, points for participation. The more you participate, the more chance you have to win. The final housekeeping item that I want to mention here today is at the very bottom of the screen. If you bear with me 1 second, you might not have seen it, but at the very bottom of the screen, you're going to see a white box that says 18 proven quiz funnel templates. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you go ahead and you actually click this download now button to get access to this right here. So you're going to click that. It's going to take you to a screen that looks a little something like this. It'll take a moment probably to download because we're all doing it at the same time right now. Once it loads, it is a big, beefy file. It will take a few seconds for it to load. Once you do let this load right here on the screen, it's going to take a moment to pull up, I guess because there's a few thousand of us trying to do this all at once right now. It's going to pull up a resource that we're going to be using here today. And this resource, if we come to me for just a moment as this loads on my screen, this resource is going to give you dozens of different examples of different quiz funnels in different markets, in different situations. You're going to hear stories in this document of people who are using what we're covering here today in different markets and in different businesses. You're going to see actual quizzes, the questions, the layouts, the landing pages, the hooks, the big ideas behind these quizzes, and you want to make sure that you have access to that. So it's going to look a little something like this. It says the 2022 template swipe file, as you can see right here. And you'll see some of what we're going to be covering here today a little bit later. I just wanted to give you a sneak preview of that. Make sure that you go ahead and download that document. As you can see on my high-speed gigabit level internet connection, it took a minute or two for this to download. The reason for that is because there's so many examples, so many images in this. We wanted to pack as much value as we possibly could. And again, the way that you get access to that is on our link that we are right now, which is again quizfunnel.com/live. And then at the bottom of the screen, you'll see here 18 proven quiz funnel templates. All right. I think that covers all of our housekeeping. So if you're ready, I'm ready. We are going to get right into it right now. Now, before we get started, I want to start with the basics. The basics being at the most fundamental level to take a moment to define what is a quiz funnel. And to do this, I'm going to be using the help of my trusty handy-dandy iPad to kind of sketch out some things as we go along. And I would invite you to take some time to have your tool, whatever you're using, to take your notes out in front of you as well. So let's go ahead and do this together. In fact, I'm going to title my page at the top of my page here, our conversation here today, which is, let's see, the quiz funnel paradox. You might be wondering, what is the quiz funnel paradox? We're going to get to that in just a minute. Quiz funnel paradox. And first things first, we just stay on the iPad here and not move. We stay on the iPad. What I want to do is I want to take a moment to just talk about the difference between an old funnel and a quiz funnel. So an old style funnel. Traditional style funnel, which for the purposes of our conversation, we're going to call it an old funnel. And you may have seen other people talking about these types of funnels. They're more of a traditional type of funnel. Basically, what we are seeing is, a page that looks a little something like this, that takes people to maybe a screen where we get to ask for a person's email address, and then that gets to a page where we ask them to pay us some money. So it may look a little something like this, and you might see everything from a download my free ebook to get this free report, to book a call, to register for this session, or whatever it may be. And at the end of it, we have a page that is asking for a person's money. So this is a traditional old style funnel. Now, this is in contrast to what we're going to be focusing our attention on here today, which is a quiz funnel. So let's just set the tone for today's conversation. A quiz funnel is very different. A quiz funnel, instead of sending everybody down the same one-size-fits-all path, we begin perhaps by inviting someone to answer a series of questions on our website that are asked maybe one tiny little baby step at a time, like this. And instead of sending everybody to the same one-size-fits-all destination, we're branching people into one of several possible directions based on the answers to those questions, based on who they are, based on what their challenges are, based on what their goals are, based on what their struggles are. We're using the questions that we ask to really customize the user experience. And by doing so, the net result is that we have far greater revenue opportunity, far greater lead and customer acquisition opportunity, and a far more effective result at the end of the day. So what is a quiz funnel? Well, a quiz funnel in a nutshell is, as I mentioned, when someone lands on your website, you begin by asking a series of questions to better understand their situation so you can customize either the product, the offer, or the message that you put in front of someone based on that person's situation. Now, if you're like me, I'm the type of person that likes to see examples in action to really understand this. So let's take a look at a few examples to set the stage for our time here today. So the first example of a quiz funnel is a quiz funnel in the golf market. Some of you may be familiar with this example, but it's a great classic example of a quiz funnel. It's been so incredibly effective. When you heard Justin Tupper in that short video say that he was generating as much as 5,000 leads per day and $75,000 to $120,000 in revenue every single day, this is one of the quiz funnels that we built together in that market. And it looks a little something like this. You take people to a page where you're inviting people to answer a series of questions. In this case here, a short video that says, take this free quiz to find out your #1 swing killer. It's followed by asking people a series of questions to help diagnose that person's situation and ultimately prescribe the best next step. This is an example of a quiz funnel in action. This is a golf quiz. Let's take a look at another quiz that literally just launched a few short weeks ago. This is the Dad Superpower Quiz. This is a quiz created by an organization called Front Row Dads. I'm a part of this organization. I am a member, a paying customer in this organization. It's a group of men who are successful business owners, but who consider themselves family men first and put family before business. The founder is John Vroman, and working with our team, John and his team created a quiz. What is your #1 blind spot and your superpower as a dad? And he uses this quiz as an introduction point into his membership, his Front Row Dads membership. He asks a series of questions, just like the example we saw a moment ago, and then ultimately prescribes the best next step, which in this case here is to attend a workshop for this quiz. Next up is an example of a physical product quiz, weight loss type quiz. This is an example in a health space created by Buck Risby and Dr. Steve Siskin. You can see Dr. Steve right here. He asks a series of questions to help identify what is your weight loss type. Are you type A, type I, type G, or type C? Take the quiz to find out now. Once again, attract, diagnose, and prescribe. Here's another example of a quiz funnel. This one is in a local real estate market. What is your home's sellability score? I mean, gosh, with the real estate market being as crazy as it is in many parts of the country and many parts of the world, is now a good time to be selling your home? Take this quiz to find out now. And you can see here, we once again start with a page that looks a little something like this, that culminates in asking a series of questions that lands people into a screen that looks like this. Now, if you'd like to take an actual quiz funnel, if you'd like to see an actual quiz funnel in action, you can do so by going to this link that you see right here, which is takethefunnelquiz.com. In fact, we'll throw that link up on the screen, takethefunnelquiz.com. This one's kind of meta, and some of you took this quiz to get to this workshop. This is a quiz funnel to figure out what type of funnel is right for you. Did anybody take this quiz? Did anyone take this? You can go ahead and inside the chat, let me know if you had a chance to take this quiz. You can just let me know in the chat by typing the word quiz, Q-U-I-Z, type the word quiz. Let me know if you had a chance to take this quiz. I know many of us had a chance. If you haven't already, I recommend that you do it after today's session, not right now. But it's a really cool example to see how a quiz funnel works, how the answers to the quiz will really sort of give you sort of custom messaging and custom resources based on your answers. So I'm a big believer in not only learning from examples, but participating in well-designed examples as well to learn as much as possible. So I'm just gonna do a quick check-in here inside the chat. And by the way, for those of you who are live right now, I think we are maxed out. So do not leave this page. I'm getting word from my team that we are 100% maxed out on our attendance right now. And so you wanna make sure that you are here and you are not bouncing out. Looking at this right now and taking a look at this screen right here. Okay, good, good, good. All right, looking that we are good, okay, with the team. All good here and yeah, awesome. All right, just making sure we're good. Olia says quiz. Jim said yes. Aletta says yes. Rosie, Natasha, yes. Kelly says yes, 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 yes. Not yet, says Sharon. Well, you got something to do as a mini homework assignment. Lisa, yes. Kristen, yes. Quiz, beautiful, awesome. So the thing that every single one of these examples all has in common is that these are all quiz funnels. These are all quiz funnels. Now, if we just stay on that screen for just a moment as I pull something up right now, what I'd like to do is now talk about not only what a quiz funnel is, but let's talk a little bit about why quiz funnels. Like, why should you consider using a quiz funnel? And there are 3 reasons that I want to talk about here today. There are 3 reasons I want to talk about here today, and I'm actually going to take my notes for this. So 3 reasons why quizzes are so effective. So let's take a look at this right now, beginning with reason number 1. So reason number 1, why quizzes? If we go to our screen right here, quizzes help generate incredibly cheap leads. Incredibly cheap leads. So let's take a moment, we'll write that down. Let's write this down together. Cheap leads. And I don't know about you, but I like cheap leads. In fact, so I just highlight this and make this stand out a little bit more. What I love about quiz funnels is that you can often get anywhere from leads at 1/3 to 1/10 the cost of what you might be paying. So for example, I'll give you a few examples. This is a quiz by an entrepreneur by the name of Carrie Green. She's an entrepreneur in the UK. She created a quiz in her business with the help of working with me and our team. And this quiz helped her cut her cost per lead from what she was previously paying, which was $4 per lead, to now less than 80 cents per lead. And you saw Carrie very briefly in that short video montage that we looked at just a moment ago. She's had over 129,000 people take her quiz, so incredibly cheap leads. But we see this in all types of different markets. Like, for example, Maston Kipp in the personal development market was spending $6 per lead. Now he's getting leads at 76 cents. Beryl Young in the photography market was paying $1.67 per lead. Now she's spending 14 cents per lead. Here's a fun one. Literally in our community just posted, I think it was just this week, in fact, a few days ago. Yeah, you can see the date right there, just a few days ago. This is David Blair. He's got a business where he works with former sort of television stars, like in this case here. Do you guys remember the show Power Rangers from like the 1990s? Yeah, well, he works with the Red Power Ranger and the Black Power Ranger. And what he's found switching to a quiz funnel is that he has typically seen leads cost $36 per lead in the space that he operates in, representing celebrities like this. Now he's able to get leads at less than $4.35 per lead. So you can see the results are just really incredible. So I'm going to take a moment to write this down, and I would encourage you to do this as well. You can save 30 to 90% on your cost per lead. But you might be wondering, why are you able to get such cheap leads? Like, why are leads so cheap, right? Anyone curious? Like, why is this the case? Why are you able to get leads at such a cheap cost? Well, there are a few things that are happening when you use a quiz funnel. First things first, quizzes, when done well, are incredibly shareable. So what happens is after someone takes your quiz, they get the results. If you do it well and you do it right, and people will share their quiz results with their friends, with their colleagues. They'll post it online. They'll tell people about it. And all that additional traffic that you get, that referral traffic, that's free traffic. You don't see that when someone downloads an ebook or a white paper or something like a traditional quote-unquote lead magnet, because people aren't engaging with it right away. Now, the other thing that's happening is when you are posting your quiz on a place like Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or any of the social media sites out there, what happens on Facebook is, let's say you post your quiz. It's an incredibly engaging piece of content. You're going to find that people will comment and share their results. They'll hit the share button on Facebook and share it with their friends. They'll click the like button, the love button. And when Facebook sees that, they say, gosh, this is a really valuable piece of content. People are really engaging in it. So let's expand the organic reach. Let's show this piece of content to more people. If you're running paid advertising, they will reduce your cost per advertising. They'll reduce your CPM, your cost per 1,000 impressions, because the piece of content is getting such great engagement. So the net effect, when you've got people sharing it and you get all that free traffic, and you've got the social media sites that are expanding the reach, is that it reduces your cost per lead anywhere from 30 to 90%. But it gets even better. And that takes us to reason number 2, why quiz funnels. Reason number 2, I'm going to go to my notes here for this one right here. Reason number 2 is incredibly high conversion. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you get incredibly high sales conversion as well. Not only do you get cheap leads, but those leads convert at an incredibly high clip. And I'll show you the reason why and a few examples for this. So because you can customize your copy and your offer, you can customize what people see after they take your quiz, you can often double to triple your sales conversion rate. And I'll give you a few examples of businesses that are seeing these types of results. This is an e-commerce company called Snack Nation. They created a quiz a few years ago as a test, just as an experiment to see how the quiz performed. They were doubtful. They were dubious. They didn't believe that the quiz was actually going to work. They said, how could a quiz work in a B2B business? This business here will send companies, offices, a box of curated healthy snacks based on their tastes and preferences and the number of people in the office. And so they did a test. They tried their traditional funnel, compared it to a quiz funnel. They ran it for a couple months, and you can see the results right here. They went from making $3,000 a month in their control funnel to almost $11,000 a month switching over to the quiz. And we see this in market after market after market. Gabby and Thomas Rass in the horse training market took their results, you can see right here, from $10,000 a month to $22,000 a month when they switched to the quiz. This is Janine Samuels right here. Switching to a quiz, she was making $126,000 a month, and now she's making over $238,000 per year. Now she's making over $238,000 per year, switching over to the quiz. So you might be wondering, how are you able to get such high conversion? What is the secret? Well, I mean, it's pretty intuitive, right? If you sell to everybody in the same one-size-fits-all way, it's not going to be as effective as doing what we do in person, which is what? We have a conversation. We ask questions. We ask a series of questions, and then we customize the way in which we speak to someone based on their answers, right? I mean, just think about it. If you and I were sitting down and having a conversation and you said, hey, Ryan, I hear you help people get more customers and get more leads online. Can you help me? What I'm not going to say is, yes, absolutely, and here's what you should do. Instead, what I'm going to say is, well, can you tell me a little bit about your business? Tell me a little bit, like, what do you sell? Where are you at right now? Are you just getting started? Do Do you have a large established business? Tell me a little bit about where you're at. And then with that information, I'll be able to recommend the best next step for you. So it's very common that we see for our clients who do this that they get an increase of anywhere from 2 to 3x conversion on the back of their quiz. So they double to triple their sales conversion rate when they make that switch. But again, it gets even better. Why ClickFunnels? Well, reason number 3, if we keep going down our list right here, reason number 3 why ClickFunnels is not only do you get cheap leads, not only do you get high conversion, but you get incredibly fast results. Now, as you can probably tell by the way I speak and how quickly I tend to move, I am an impatient person. My mom, when I was growing up, used to tell me, Ryan, have patience. And I never learned to have patience. I'm a very impatient person. I want results and I want results now. And what I love about ClickFunnels is that you can get results incredibly quickly. In fact, it's not uncommon to get results with your ClickFunnels less than 30 days after launching. And I'll give you a few examples of this in action. This is Jamal Miller and his wife, Natasha. Jamal created a quiz a few years ago called Why Are You Still Single? So it was in the Christian singles market. Why are you still single? And he launched his quiz and got over 10,000 people to take his quiz in less than 14 days. Why? Well, the quiz went completely viral in his market. He started posting it, people started sharing it, one thing led to another. Over 10,000 people took that quiz in less than 2 weeks. You can see here, this one is in the Spanish-speaking market, in the Hispanic market, in the parenting niche. This is Gabby and her husband, Luis Carlos, who created a quiz, What is your parenting style? And check it out. I know these numbers are going to be hard to believe, but this is one of the most successful quizzes of all time that I've been part of, that my team and I have helped create. But take a look at it. Over 1 million people took this quiz in less than 10 days. 1 million people. Now, you might be saying, but I don't have like 1 million people even in my entire market. Well, that's the cool thing with quizzes. You don't need a large number of people. So check it out. This is Dr. Tangi Watkins. She was in the middle of a career change. Like I know some of us here looking to quit your job and start a business. She was in that same situation. She was a medical doctor. She was fed up with being, at the front lines of everything happening with the global pandemic and just being sort of burnt out with that whole experience, and said she wanted to do something different with her life. So she heard about the power of a quiz to build something that you call a pre-launch list, which we're going to talk about a little bit later here today. So she launched a quiz. She had no business, no product, no website, no nothing. She launches a quiz. What is your success alignment score? She gets 5,000 people to take her quiz. A pretty modest number compared to the 1 million that we saw just a moment ago. But take a look at her results. She gets 5,000 people to take her quiz, and in her first month in business, she makes over $20,000. Now, lest you think that this is limited to just a few short examples, I pulled just a random example from our community just a few weeks ago. You can see right here. This is Dawn Terwillinger. She and her husband, Tom, created a quiz in the fitness space. Now, they launched their quiz, and they didn't get 1 million people. They didn't get 1,000 people. They didn't even get 100 people to take their quiz. But check it out. In less than a week, they launched their quiz. They get 61 people to take the quiz. And someone who took the quiz reaches out to them and asks them for their highest level offering. Says, I love the quiz. I love what you stand for. I want to work with you guys. What do you got? And they sold a $10,000 fitness package to a complete stranger. A complete stranger who didn't know who they were, getting to know them for the very first time ever, taking the quiz in 1 week after launching. Now, you might be wondering, why are you able to get such fast results with the quiz? Well, here's the reason why. See, unlike an ebook or a white paper, which most people, what do? Let's be honest. You download that ebook, and then what do? You put it in that folder on your hard drive, right? I mean, we all got that folder. I've got mine, right? The folder where you say, I will read this someday, maybe. I'm going to look at this at some point down the road. And then we never look at it, right? We download it, we save it, and then we just never read it. A quiz, on the other hand, is something that people engage with in real time. It's in the moment. It's instantaneous. People you ask a few questions, they answer a few questions, they get the results, and they engage with it right away. So when that happens, because people are consuming it, they're engaging with it right away, you can get incredibly fast results. In fact, we see regularly people get results anywhere from 5 to 25 times faster than with old style funnels. So you've got cheap leads, you've got high conversion, you've got fast results, but at the end of the day, why quiz funnels? The bottom line is this: quiz funnels help you better sell and better serve. Now, of course, you win. You're going to win for all the reasons that we just discussed a moment ago. But more importantly, your customer wins. And I'll give you an example of this. This is Dana Abraham. Dana is a mom. You can see her kids in the backseat of the car. Dana helps parents with outside-the-box kids. Kids who have either struggled in school, they've been diagnosed with a learning challenge or learning disability, parents who have really struggled with kiddos who maybe haven't succeeded in the traditional, conventional school system. So she helps outside-the-box kids. And a lot of times the moms that come to Dana are at a point where they have almost lost hope. They feel like there's no other solution out there for them. Now, Dana created a quiz, you can see right here, where she got over 10,000 people to take a quiz in less than 14 days, which is an amazing feat in and of itself. It led her to have her first $1 million year in her business, but the important thing is the results that people have gotten as a result of taking the advice she shares in the quiz, helping people diagnose their pain, diagnose the problem, and prescribe the best next step. People routinely and regularly say, Dana, you have changed my life. And that is what can happen when you put into practice what we're covering here today. Not only do you better sell in your business and get all the results that we've talked about, cheaper leads, higher conversion, faster results, but by better serving, you can change people's lives forever. And that, for me, is really what it's all about. Yes, you can do good financially, you can do well financially, but more importantly, you can do good in the world. But I want to talk about something that I've never really talked about before, and that is what is going on in the world right now. Because for those of you who participated in this quiz funnel workshop a year ago, I mean, a lot has changed in the last 12 months, right? The world that we live in here today is very different in 2022 than the world that we lived in just 12 short months ago. And there's some big changes that have happened in the digital online world that have made for this right here, right now, being the most important time in history to be using a quiz funnel as opposed to any of the other processes that you might have heard about, seen about, thought about online. So let's talk a little bit about why now. Why now? Now, for those of you who were with us last week we held a Web3 Future 5-day symposium. 5 ways over 5 days to prepare for this new third era of the internet. We talked about Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and now this third era of the internet that we are living in here today. A world that has shifted, that has changed in the last 12 months. We talked about something called the Edelman Trust Barometer, a measurement of trust in the world. And for the first time ever in the last 10 years since this measurement has been made, the default state of the world that we live in right here, right now, today in 2022 is a world of distrust. Now, we started distrust, seeds of distrust were sown going back to the last financial crisis of 2008, where we saw the Occupy Wall Street movement. We saw the advent of new technologies like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. We saw the distrust in the banking system, the failure of the financial institution. And so this distrust started with the financial world, financial distrust, distrust in the banking system. But in the last few years, that distrust has spread to government distrust, distrust with big tech. And we started to see this distrust in the world spill into the world of big tech last year in 2021, when trust reached an all-time low in the history of this measurement. We saw this come through with the privacy wars of 2021 between Apple and Facebook. Do you remember what was happening? Now, in case you don't remember what was happening in 2021, we saw privacy wars between Apple and Facebook, where Apple decided to make it its mission to take privacy on as its USP, its unique selling proposition. And Apple, in the last year, has become the privacy company, the company that has positioned itself as the white knight advocating for our privacy. Now, it led to the release of something that has really ushered in, it was the seminal event that's ushered in this third era of the digital marketing world. And this third era started with something called the release of iOS 14.5. iOS 14.5 was Apple's operating system that they released in the spring of 2021. And the big change with iOS 14.5 is, for the first time ever, they decided to give users, end users, the choice to opt out of third-party tracking. Using privacy as its reason, using it as its marketing advantage, saying, we care about your privacy, users. We're going to let you choose if you want to opt in or opt out of third-party tracking. Now, any guesses on the actual number of people who have chosen to opt out? Now, at the time, the guess by most pundits, by most gurus, by most media experts was somewhere between 10 and 15% of people would choose to opt out. They would choose to opt out of being tracked by third-party cookies, third-party data providers on the internet. The guess was 10 to 15%. Any guesses on the actual number? Post it inside the chat. Is it 10%? Is it 15%? 20%? 25%? 30%? 40%? 50%? 60%? Check it out. Try 88%. 88% of people made the decision to no longer allow these third-party data providers to track their user behavior behind the scenes. So for the first time ever, consumers voted with their feet and said, we no longer want to trade our privacy and our data for convenience. And what it meant is, overnight, it cut Facebook off at the knees. The umbilical cord of data that was being fed to Facebook, being fed to other big tech and big data companies like Google, was eliminated practically overnight. See, Facebook used to, pre-iOS 14.5, be able to know exactly what you were doing on the internet. Facebook would be able to track what sites you were visiting off of Facebook, what stuff you were shopping for, what videos you were watching on third-party platforms, and then Facebook could use all of that great, rich information to serve its users targeted ads. And you as an advertiser, you as a digital marketer could rely on that, because you could just log into Facebook and say, show my stuff, show my landing page, show my content to someone who checks off this box, this box, this box, and this box, right? So if you wanted to serve your stuff, excuse me, if you want to serve your stuff to moms between the age of 35 and 45 who have a golden retriever at home and also play tennis, you can do that, because Facebook could find those people based on all of this user behavior. iOS 14.5 gets released. That goes away overnight. And we've seen the changes happen this year. The privacy wars led to this post-iOS 14 world where there was no more targeting. And there's so few people that realize that these shifts have happened right beneath our feet. But if you pay attention to what's happened in the last year, you can see here Facebook is changing and has changed its targeting for 2022. The old Facebook pixel that many of us have come to know and love is now gone. It no longer works the way it used to work. Even just this past week, Facebook, also now known as Meta, made an announcement that they're developing a new type of ad called Basic Ads that has no targeting whatsoever. See, Facebook and Google and the other big tech platforms, that have been able to send to us highly targeted users, highly targeted traffic. Those days are over. Unless you think that this is just limited to Facebook, the same thing is happening with Google as well. Now, why do we spend so much time talking about Google and Facebook? Google and Facebook collectively, and those networks, so Google also includes YouTube, Facebook also includes places like WhatsApp and Instagram and everything that's owned in the Facebook ecosystem, represent over 85% of the available traffic online. Think about that, 85%. So everything that we used to be able to rely on up until this past year is out the window. We can no longer rely on these platforms to service up targeted users. Now, when Apple made its 14.5, excuse me, I'll take a sip of water here. When Apple made its release of the iOS 14.5 operating system and it was met with consumer exuberance, they decided to push it one step further and said, this attack that we made on web traffic online, advertising online, organic content online, we're going to make that same attack, but we're going to reorient our efforts toward email. So Apple, later in the year 2021, released a new operating system known as iOS 15. Now, iOS 15 marked the release of something called Mail Privacy Protection, which meant that basically, without getting in the technicalities of it, for the first time ever, advertisers online could no longer track who is opening up your emails. You can no longer know who is opening up your emails. They eliminated the ability to track open rates. Now, with this, what it's meant is that not only is there no more targeting when it comes to reaching the right people, but you can no longer rely on sending the same message to everybody on your email list because you must send the right content to the right people at the right time. In other words, email segmentation is essential. And the reason for that is because you can no longer rely on email open rates, you must rely on email click-through rates. Now, the thing that's brought this all together, the bottom line, the big shift is as follows. We have moved from a world where we've been able to rely on third-party data and a little bit of first-party data to now relying on zero-party data. So what's the difference between those three things? Third-party data is data that you gather, that you can use, that's been gathered by somebody else. It's like when you've been able to use Facebook to target the right people. Facebook has access to this third-party data based on all the browsing history, and you as an advertiser, you as a small business owner can say, all right, find me people who are interested in red backpacks, who are looking to go on a hike in the next 3 weeks, who are in the market to make a purchase. Boom, that's third-party data. You can no longer rely on that anymore. So that shifted us to first-party data. First-party data is, well, you say, I can't rely on that information anymore. Let me track people when they come to my website. Let me use a tool like Google Analytics so I can track people in the background when they visit my website. That is first-party data. Problem with first-party data is parts of the world are starting to outlaw first-party data. Countries like Austria have already made it illegal for you to be using Google Analytics. Countries like France are following suit. So that's starting to go out the window. So if you can't rely on third-party data, if you can't rely on first-party data, what is the answer? What is the secret? The secret is zero-party data. Zero-party data is instead of spying on people in the background, which we can all agree none of us like, right? None of us likes when Facebook is spying on our dinner conversation, me included. The world has moved on. Zero-party data is moving away from spying and moving toward asking. See, zero-party data is when someone lands on your website, instead of spying in the background, you begin by asking for information that the end user explicitly volunteers to you. They are explicitly and transparently volunteering that information to you so that you can ultimately better sell and better serve. So if we look at how the world has changed, how there's no more targeting, that segmentation is essential, that we've moved from third to first to zero-party data in the world changing completely in these last 12 months. In other words, in this new iOS 14, post iOS 15 world, you must have a way to target and segment your customers that relies 100% on capturing your own zero-party data. And how do we do this? What is the most effective way to do all of the things that I've just mentioned in the last few minutes in this conversation? Say it with me. It's 2 words. It's why we're here, right now, today. It's to do so with a quiz funnel. See, a quiz funnel is not just another lead magnet. It is not just another lead magnet. I see people inside the Facebook group saying, I'm testing out different lead magnets. A quiz funnel is not just another lead magnet. A quiz funnel is the top of funnel strategy that every single business that wants to succeed online should be using in 2022. So what is the great quiz funnel paradox? What is the great quiz funnel paradox and everything that we've talked about? Because if quizzes are so effective, if you can get such cheap leads, if you can get such high conversion, if you get such fast results, if now is the time to be implementing with this new zero-party world that we live in, this world where you can no longer rely on third-party targeting, this world where you must engage a segmentation strategy, if quiz funnels are so effective, why aren't more people using this strategy and getting results? Well, here's the thing. It's not enough to just throw a fake quiz on your website. You can't just slap a few questions together and just call it a day. To be successful with this strategy, the devil is in the details, and the nuances matter. In fact, I have spent the last 15 years of my life, first as a student, then as a practitioner, then as a builder, then as an educator, then as a technologist in this space. In fact, it's the exact path that my wife, Tylene, and I have used to build a $10 million a year business working out of our home. And what I want to do now to kind of set the stage for what we're going to be talking about, so hopefully you can see elements of your story, is tell you a little bit about my personal story and how everything all got started. Because in the beginning, it all started rather modestly. You know, for me, I grew up working class. This is a photo of my dad with me and my sister. It's a photo of my mom. I was the first in my family to go to college, so I grew up in a pretty blue-collar household. My dad worked nights as a shipping clerk. My mom cut hair in the basement of our house to earn a little bit of extra income. First in my family to go to college. I've always been obsessed with the brain and human psychology. So I studied neuroscience at the Ivy League level at Brown University. And it was at Brown where I met my wife, Tylene. We started dating in our freshman year of college, and we've been together ever since. Believe it or not, I can't believe that that's over half my life, over 20 years that we've been together. And then after college, Tylene and I moved to New York City and then later China, where I had an opportunity to work in the financial field up until 2008. Then in 2008, something happened. Just a very similar circumstance to what we're running into right here, right now, today. The world entered into a global recession, and we were faced with the world financial crisis of 2008. And it was at that time that I realized in times of great disruption, times of disruption represent the greatest opportunities. And as the world was seeing that disruption, I had this dream of starting my own business, a dream of being my own boss, a dream of being able to have no ceiling on my income and no ceiling on my impact in the world, to create a business that would allow us to travel the world and live the life that we wanted. So I did what was at the time the scariest thing of my entire life. I decided to leave my job and start my own business. And it was at that time that everyone in my family and everyone in my friend circle said I was a complete idiot. They couldn't believe what I was doing, why I was giving it all up to start this business. Now at that time, my big goal, my someday maybe goal, the goal that I said, someday maybe I would love to make $10,000 a month. And my first entry point into the world of quiz funnels was by going into 23 different weird niche markets. And when I say weird markets, I'm talking markets like Scrabble tile jewelry Orchid Care, memory training, markets like water filtration, satellite TV, fish oil supplements, flea removal, violet care, and more. So, when you tell me the market that you're in, and by the way, I'd love to know in the chat, what market are you in right now? Let me know inside the chat. When you say you are in a weird market, I've been in some weird markets. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna admit it right now, I have been in some weird markets myself. So I don't care how big your market is, how small your market is, how expected your market is, how weird your market is, this is a strategy that you can use. And when we went into these markets, the strategy that we used to get results every single time was by building a quiz funnel. You can see here our very first business back in 2008, I made $370. That was my first month. This is it. This is the screenshot right here. $370 in my first month. But within 18 months, I was making $24,000 a month. Within 3 years, I was making over $100,000 a month. And I had learned how to build audiences, build lists in all these different places. Building an audience of 78,000 people, 100,000 customers, 260,000 people, 30,000 customers, 535,000 people, over 116,000 customers. All said and done across these businesses, I built an email list of over 4.1 million email subscribers. And then from there, with that experience, kind of getting a little bit of experience under my belt, big companies started reaching out to me asking if I could build one of these quiz funnels for them. And so it led me to start building quiz funnels for other companies. I became a quiz builder, and I'd have big companies that would reach out to me saying, hey, Ryan, we would like your help to build a quiz. And I started charging a 55-5 model. Basically, the way it worked was simple. I would charge up to $50,000 up front to build a quiz, plus a $5,000 a month retainer, and a 5% royalty on gross sales. And before I knew it, I was making over $1 million a year building quiz funnels for other people. And I had no team, no employees, and it was pretty exciting. I'd have these royalty checks, this mailbox money that would land in my mailbox where I'd get, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month in royalty payments from the results of a single quiz funnel. And then the royalties started getting bigger. I'd have royalty payments of $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month building quiz funnels for other companies. But when I had this experience, I thought, gosh, I could keep what I had learned to just a small handful of businesses, or I could begin teaching this and sharing this with the world. And so a few years ago, decided to build what's now become a 5-time Inc. 5000, Inc. 500 education company called the Ask Method Company. And that's why we're all here today. The Ask Method Company, as I mentioned, we are a 5-time Inc. 5000 fastest growing company in the country. At our peak, we're as high as the number 7 fastest growing company in all of Austin, Texas, in all categories, all niches, all businesses. The number 50 fastest growing education company in the entire country. And from this experience, helped lead me to create a company about 5 years ago in the technology space, a software company that is the technology that powers every single one of the quiz funnels that you've heard about here today and will be hearing about over the next few days. That software company is called New Edge Solutions. Our technology is best known as Bucket.io. It's AI-driven quiz funnel technology. It's used by over 30 million people around the world, many of whom are large established businesses, as well as small solopreneurs and early stage startups. Over 200 million data points annually. And as a result, we've been able to generate over $60 million in the last few years alone, doing over $1 million a month on the back of our quiz funnel strategy. And we sell all sorts of different things in our business. We sell digital products, so courses and memberships. We sell other people's products as an affiliate. We do a whole bunch of high-ticket coaching and consulting in our business. We sell physical products in our e-commerce business. We sell software, subscriptions, and memberships. And it's a story that's been featured all over the media: Wall Street Journal, Harvard Business Review, Entrepreneur, Inc., Forbes, LA Times, USA Today, NBC Television, Fox Television, you name it. But at the end of the day, as I mentioned very early on, for me, the thing that's most important to me is this slide right here. This is my family. These are my two boys, Henry and Bradley. They're in the other room right now. I just heard them make a loud noise, so I think one of them just opened the refrigerator and dropped something. I don't know if you guys heard it through the microphone. They're here right now. We homeschool our boys. My wife and I homeschool our boys as we run our company. And this is why I do what I do, because this is what it's all about right here. In addition to being a family man first, a father first, a husband first, have the privilege of having built a team of now over 80 women and men around the world that help our clients create, launch, and build quiz funnels like the ones that you're going to be hearing about in this workshop. And we've been able to do some cool stuff to give back in the world as well. A few years ago, we built a school in Kenya called the Ask Academy Africa that provides a school to over 400 young girls and boys who otherwise wouldn't have an education. We are a corporate donor of an organization called Kiva.org, where we have donated over $300,000 worth of microloan financing that stays in permanent rotation inside the Kiva infrastructure. So it just stays there. And we've been able to provide access to business funding to so many people around the world in places of the world that don't have access to things that we take for granted, like electricity and internet and running water. Entrepreneurs who are starting a business to support their family and their community. And like I said, I've been able to work with thousands of students and clients and customers over the years, like some of the ones you're going to get to know here today and over this next week. But more important than any of that is you. And that's why we're here. This is about you. I wanted to share my story so that way you could see what is what's possible, how things started, where things are here today, and the stories of other people, because whether you're looking to make $10,000 per month, $10 million per year, or somewhere in between, what I want to share with you is the process for using what we're going to be covering here today to get the results you want to get. When I asked you that question a few minutes ago, why are you here? To get those results. So what we're going to do now is we're going to help answer a few important questions. Like, for example, is a quiz funnel for you? What if you are a complete beginner? And why are quiz funnels so effective? So first thing that I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the psychology behind quiz funnels. So if you're with me right now, there are three big psychological forces that I want to share with you and talk about that make quiz funnels so effective as you start thinking about the possibilities for your business and what your quiz might be about. So let's go to our notes here, and I invite you to jot this down as I'm writing this with me in real time. And we'll stay on the iPad for this. We're going to talk about the three psychological forces. The three psychological forces that make quiz funnels so effective. And again, I told you I am a brain geek. Anyone else here a brain geek? Anyone else here a geek when it comes to human psychology? I certainly am. And by the way, remember, I want to remind you, as and when you've got a nugget, use that hashtag nugget inside the chats. Remember, it's hashtag nugget, post it, points of participation. The more you participate, the more chances you have to win. The more you participate, the more engaged you're going to be, the more you're going to take away from this experience. So take a moment to post any nugget that you've had as we've gone through this session here and as things come up. So three psychological forces. The first psychological force that I want to talk about is, if we go to the iPad here, is what we call the psychology, the power of self-discovery. This is reason number one. Now, self-discovery basically is one of the reasons why quizzes are so effective. Because it doesn't matter what you sell, it doesn't matter what market you are in, it doesn't matter what price point you sell at. The thing that people care more about than anything else is what? Is themselves. It's me, myself, and I, right? Like, that's what we all care about. That's what your market, what your audience cares about, your consumer cares about. It's what you care about. That's why you're here. If you find yourself asking, well, what about me? You're having a reaction that your consumer is having as well. Now, the power of self-discovery is most evidenced when we take a look at some of those personality tests that many of us have taken or experienced in our lives. Like, excuse me, for example, Myers-Briggs, the MBTI test, the Kolbe assessment, the StrengthsFinders test, the Enneagram, the DISC profile. Have you taken any one of those before? Let me know inside the chat. Use the chat. Let me know if you've taken at least one of those tests. So, Kolbe, DISC, MBTI, Myers-Briggs, the Enneagram assessment. Gosh, there are other ones out there. The Fascination Profile, StrengthsFinder assessment by Gallup. If you've taken at least one of those tests, go ahead inside the chat, type in the number 1. If you've taken at least 2 of those tests, type in the number 2. If you've taken at least 3 of those tests, type in the number 3, 3 or more, do 3+. I'd love to know. We'll just kind of take a quick check-in for those of us who are here. If you've taken at least 1, 2, or 3 of those tests. Again, DISC, Myers-Briggs, what's your personality type? StrengthsFinder, the Kolbe assessment, Enneagram. Go ahead inside the chat. I'd love to get a sense for where we are and how we break down as buckets inside the group. And what I'm going to do here is that team, I think we may need to speed up the chat just a little bit. I'm going to pour myself some fresh water. Clearly, I am choking on my words here today. I'm see right now. Power of self-discovery. Love this indeed. Yes, great. 3 psychological forces. Yeah, lots of nuggets here. Love seeing this. I'm seeing a whole bunch of us here. May need to speed up the chat, team, so we can keep up. I love this. Here we go. Now we're walking. Brain Geeks here. Brain Geeks Unite. Loving it here. Yeah, here we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. Yeah, I see 1. I see 2. I see 3. Psychology is my life, says Veronica. Personal and professional. Brain Geeks rule, says Dory. Yes. Yes. Nugget. Ego. Indeed. Segment your clients. Yes. Big time Brain Geek here as well. I love it. Nugget. Indeed. Yes. Indeed. Psychologists should be able to figure this out. I know. I love this. Great. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. Few is here. I'm seeing them pop in. The chat is on a little bit of a delay because, gosh, there are almost 2,000 of us here doing this and rocking and rolling. Yes. Taking that Enneagram for sure. MBTI, StrengthsFinder, did the DISC for work decades ago. Yes. Self-discovery. Yes, I love it. Cool. Taking all of them, says Lisa. Power, self-discovery, indeed. Yes, Myers-Briggs. Took 90% of them. Yes, indeed. Taking all of them, all the tests. Yes, love it. Awesome. All right, so we've taken these tests. You understand, you recognize that, that it is incredibly irresistible to learn and discover something about yourself. Right? And that's true for your market as it is for any market out there in the world. So let's talk about psychological force number 2. And we'll keep the chat moving at a good, brisk pace so we can keep up with the engagement team and get that sorted and working all hunky-dory and how we want it to be. If you bear with me 1 second. Psychological force number 2. This one's a little bit different. This is what we call the power of micro-commitments. Now, micro-commitments are basically what that refers to is that when you ask someone to do anything, instead of asking them to take a big giant step all at once, you break the steps down into smaller pieces. And this is what a quiz funnel does. Because here's the thing, when you ask anybody to do anything at all, even when you ask yourself to do something, what it does is it elicits the fear response in your brain. An area of your brain known as the amygdala, the limbic system in your brain, has that fight or flight reaction. And what happens is when you elicit that reaction and you invite someone to take a step on your website, like for example, to sign up for your email list, to download your free thing, to buy your product, it evokes that fear response in a person's brain and they either fight or flight, right? They fight or flee. And so you might be wondering, well, what's the solution? What's the secret? Well, the secret is to shrink the size of the step that you ask someone to take to be so small, it's impossible to fail. Now, in your everyday life, instead of asking yourself to run a marathon, like if I said, hey, go run a marathon, you're gonna be like, whoa, that's way too much. You start by breaking down the step into be something that's so small it's impossible to fail. Like, for example, what if you just put on your running shoes? You can do that, right? Instead of getting stressed about, for example, writing an email, what if you just open up your email? Or you just type in one word, Dear Sally, and that's it. You shrink the size of the step to be so small that your body's and brain's fear response doesn't actually kick in. Well, you can do the same thing on your website. Instead of asking someone to download your free ebook, which is a big, hairy, scary step, we shrink the size of the step to be so small that it's impossible to fail. like, for example, a simple multiple choice question in the form of a quiz. Now, the net effect is when you ask someone to take smaller steps, you might be saying, well, doesn't that slow down? Doesn't that reduce the number of people who sign up because I'm asking for all this additional information? Here's the secret. It can actually increase your opt-in rate. And the reason for that is because you're not losing people along the way. You're building action-taking momentum by starting with tiny little steps that then take people to that point where they've been involved in the process and then now they want that thing. So that is the power of micro commitments in action. That takes us to the third psychological step, the third psychological force that I want to talk about here today, and that is something that we call ADP. What does ADP stand for? Well, ADP in this context stands for attract, diagnose, and prescribe. So QuizFunnel, just like a doctor, taps into these three steps: attract, diagnose, and prescribe. So what a QuizFunnel does is it attracts the right type of people for your product or service when done well and done right, where you can diagnose their problem, diagnose their situation to figure out what the best next step is for them, and prescribe that best next step by giving them their results. Attract, diagnose, prescribe. So you're layering each of these three forces on top of one another when you create a well-designed quiz. You're tapping into the insane curiosity that someone has when they take an assessment. You're using the power of micro commitments by inviting people to take tiny little baby steps instead of taking that big, hairy, scary step right away. And you're using this attract, diagnose, prescribe paradigm to figure out exactly what people want so that you can give it to them. So that's the psychology. That is why, from a psychological standpoint, quizzes are so effective. But you might be wondering, is a quiz right for you? How do you know if this is something that you can use? Is a QuizFunnel right for you? Well, there are 6 ways to know. And as I go through each of these 6 ways to know if a QuizFunnel is right for you, what I want to invite you to do is think about which of these 6 ways best describes you and your situation. So this is going to be a micro assignment here, a micro exercise. So 6 ways to know if a QuizFunnel is something that you can use in your business. 6 ways to know if a quiz is right for you. Beginning with way number 1. Number 1, if you are someone who is selling multiple products, if you're selling multiple products, a QuizFunnel is something that you can use. Now, the reason for that is a QuizFunnel is a tool that you can use to recommend the right product for someone based on their situation. If someone comes to your backpack website and say you're selling backpacks and you want to recommend the right backpack for them, yes, you could have that conversation with people one-on-one when they visit your store, when they're with you in person, but how do you have that conversation with 100 or 1,000 people a day, every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? Well, your QuizFunnel serves as the conversation that you would otherwise have. So if you sell multiple products, you can use a QuizFunnel to recommend the right product for the person taking the quiz. So that's situation number 1. Situation number 2 is, let's say you only sell one product or service. You sell a single product or service, but that product or service can help different people in different situations. I can't write and talk at the same time, apparently. Single product or service. If you sell one product or service and you are trying to figure out which one is right for them, single product or service, then this is the next situation. So if you're selling a single product or service, that's how you know if this one is right for you. All right, single product or service. And by the way, we're getting some major heat wave here in Texas right now, and we just lost power, I think, briefly. So I'm going to keep going. My team is going to give me very clear direction behind the scenes to let me know on how we're doing. I'm just going to keep going, assuming that we are continuing to rock and roll, but we just lost power here. So I'm just going to keep on heading forward, and hopefully our backup power source is continuing to run. We may need to get our generator going behind behind the scenes to get that going. So I know my team here in studio is going to help with that, and then we'll get the generator going. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep forging ahead so that we do not miss a single beat. Let my team know. All right. All right. Next up is single product source. Next question, next situation, is if you help people with different challenges. Let's say you sell a single product, but you help people with different challenges. This is another situation where you can find that a quiz funnel is right for you. So if you help people with different challenges, this is another circumstance, so different challenges, and I'll underline this right here. Number 4 is if you help people in different situations. Let's say you help, for example, you help teachers, you help principals, you help students, you help parents. Well, these are all people in different situations. You can use a quiz funnel to sift and sort these different types of people so you can figure out the best way to serve each one. So different situations is the next type of circumstance here. Let's see, different situations. All right. Next up is number 5. Number 5 is if you help people who are at different stages of a journey. So let's say that you help people who are beginners, you help people who are intermediate, you help people who are experts. There are different stages of their journey to help identify which one is right for them. Let's see, different. What I'm going to do now, different stages in the journey. So in other words, if you help people who are, they're the equivalent of a white belt or a brown belt or a black belt, there are different stages, beginner, intermediate, experts. If you're in a relationship market, it could be people who are single, people who are dating, people who are married. So different steps or stages in a journey. And then last but not least, the 6th, and by the way, we're going to do a quick little poll here in just a moment, is if you are just getting started right now. If you're saying to yourself, I don't have any of these things right now because I'm just getting started and I need to kick off my business and get it off the ground, we're going to talk about exactly how a quiz funnel can help you here today. So 6 ways to know if a quiz funnel is right for you. Again, if you are selling multiple products, single products, different challenges, if you help people in different situations, if you are helping people at different stages of a journey, or if you are just getting started. So here's what we are going to do. What we're going to do is we're trying to get everything going here with the generator because we have some rolling blackouts here in Texas. We've got a little bit of a backup power source. We're going to try to hustle and get that going to get things working and rocking and rolling. But it is going to take us a second to do that. So what I want to do is we're going to do a quick exercise right now. 6 ways to know. I would love to know from you. Of the ways that we've just talked about, like selling a single product, selling multiple products, if you help people with different challenges, different situations, different steps in a journey, or if you're just getting started, I'd love to hear from you inside the live chat. Let me know which one best describes you. You can just type the words into the chat. So if you sell multiple products, you can type multiple inside the chat. If you sell a single product that can help different types of people, you type in single. If you help people with different challenges, type in challenges, different situations, type in situations, different stages of a journey, or if you are just getting started, let me know inside the chat. We're going to head on over to the chat right now and take a look at everything that we see coming through. I'm going to hit the refresh button, and we're going to go here. I see number 4, different stages, 4 and 5. Love it. Stage 6, all except 1, all of the above. Eva says 1 and 4. Nancy says 1 through 5. Rural says number 6. 5 out of 6 says Miriam. Getting started says Marie. All 6. 1, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6. Number 6. Man, we've got a good crew here just getting started. All 6. A whole bunch of us here. 2 and 3. Journey, multiple products. I'm numbers 5 and number 6. 1 through 6 all apply. 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4. So if you have said yes to at least one of those options, one of those elements in R6, if you have said yes to at least one of them, then this is a strategy that you can use. This is a strategy that you can use. So now that you've done that and you've taken the time to identify which best describes you. So which best describes you. Now I want to take a moment to talk about the 5 types of businesses that work incredibly well for quizzes. Incredibly well for quizzes. So we're going to talk about the 5 types of businesses, and I'm going to pull my iPad up on the screen here. 5 types of businesses. Yeah, that's a 5, believe it or not. 5 types of businesses. All right, that work incredibly well for quiz funnels. And what we're going to do now is go through each of those one by one. So if we stay here and we bear with me 1 second. First thing we're going to do is number 1 is physical products. Physical products. Physical products are best. And what I'm talking about here, of course, is if you are selling, e-commerce, if you are selling books, if you are selling a health product like weight loss supplements or a powder or beauty products or something like that. So physical products is item number 1. And what I want to do now is I'll show you a few examples of physical products in action. So you can sell, e-commerce products, physical products shipped to customers. I've shared an example of this. This is an example of a supplement quiz, a quiz that sells supplements. We took a look at a quiz that sells a box of healthy snacks. Well, here's a quiz that sells bicycles. So for those of you selling like a physical product, you might be wondering, can you use this? Absolutely. Here's an example of a quiz that sells Italian bicycles. After launching, generated over $22,000 in sales in less than a week after going live. So you can sell physical products. Next up, you can sell digital products. So number 2, if you sell digital products. So digital products would include everything from, courses, membership, software, so software as a service, SaaS, anything that is a digital product you can use as well. So I'm going to highlight this one right here. So we're going to talk digital products. Here's a few examples of digital products. So we took a look at that golf quiz a moment ago. That sells a digital program, a digital membership on the back of this quiz. This is a quiz in the saxophone market. You can see here, this is Donna Schwartz. She created a saxophone quiz that's generated over 25,000 leads, where she literally went from being a school teacher to now tripling her income using a quiz funnel to make over $150,000 per year. So you can sell digital products. You can use a quiz to generate client leads if you work with a small number of clients in a deep way. So what we call a getting clients quiz funnel. Getting clients would be, for example, if you are in the coaching space, if you are a consultant, if you are a freelancer, if you are an agency, this is something that you can use. Getting clients, and I'll give you a few examples of quiz funnels that have been getting clients. So for example, if we look at the one on my screen right here, here's an example of a coaching quiz that leads to a $15,000 high ticket sale in the book publishing space. So this is Morgan Gist McDonald. She is a coach who helps aspiring authors publish their books. She uses a quiz to get leads for her $15,000 high ticket sale. She's now making almost $1 million a year on the back of this quiz that you see right here. This is Deirdre Fay. Deirdre is a therapist. She uses a quiz funnel to get more leads for her therapy practice. She got, when she launched her quiz, 10 times more leads than she was previously getting at a 200% return on investment, which means that for every dollar she invests in advertising, she makes $2 in return. Here's an agency quiz that achieved over 150% growth on the back of the quiz that you see right here. What's your digital readiness score? Here's a brand new quiz here from a mom from Ireland who is making more than $17,000 a week on the back of her course blocker quiz. She literally has gone from 0 to 6 figures. She's on pace to do $884,000 this year on a brand new quiz that she just launched as a coach, running traffic on places like LinkedIn and Facebook, all to her quiz. So you can use a quiz to get more clients. Next is you can use a quiz if you are a local small business operating in a local geographic area. So number 4 here, is if you are a local, oops, can't, right, type, a local business. So meaning if you have, for example, a local service that you might offer. Like for example, if you are a service business, an insurance agent, a real estate agent, a financial planner, if you have a brick and mortar storefront, you've got maybe a shop on the town square, brick and mortar. Or you serve a small local geographic area, whatever that might look like. And I'm gonna try to highlight this right here. Notice how my handwriting is like getting worse? I've noticed that. Local small business, local geographic area. Here's a few examples of local small business quiz funnels. Here's a quiz funnel created by a financial planning group, Goldstone Financial Group. They use a quiz, what's your #1 retirement mistake, to get clients for their financial planning practice, like you can see right here. Here's a real estate quiz that's used to generate real estate clients. Here's a quiz that's used to generate personal training clients for a gym. You can see here that makes over $11,000 a month. This is Greg Lee. He created a quiz for his Lyme disease medical facility. He generates $17,000 a month in additional revenue all through his quiz funnel using this strategy. So you can use this if you are a local business. And then last but not least is if you are in a business where you're just looking to generate leads, right? So what we call the lead generation business. Lead generation can refer to lead generation in a B2B market or in a B2C market. And I'll give you a few examples of each here in just a moment. So for example, in the B2C space, I shared an example, the parenting quiz, perfect example, B2C quiz, 1 million email subscribers in 10 days. And this is in the Spanish market. So it just goes to show you that this is international. It's not limited to just the English market. Now, I know some of you are saying, but wait, like I'm in a B2B space, can I use this? Here's a B2B quiz. This is Jody. Jody has a quiz. She operates in the data privacy space. So she serves as an outsourced chief data officer or chief privacy officer for small and medium-sized businesses. So she sells to other companies. She created a privacy consulting quiz that took her consulting business from zero. She was literally working a job, starting a brand new business, went from zero to over $1 million a year in a B2B consulting niche, all on the back of her quiz. Now, one of the cool things about a quiz funnel is you can also use your quiz if you want to sell those leads. Like for example, you can see right here, this is a company that uses their real estate quiz to sell their real estate leads for anywhere from $50 to $500 per lead. So, they get people to take the quiz, they sell those leads off to other real estate agents, and you can make a very good living doing that just in the lead generation business. So, 5 types of businesses: e-commerce, digital products, client services, local small business, or lead generation. Again, the micro exercise here is which one best describes you. If you had to pick one, which one best describes you and your situation? Go ahead inside the chat. Let me know which one best describes you. I see a great example right here. Consulting quiz, love it. B2B, B2C, oh, that's a good idea. Says, this is great. Which one best describes you? Go ahead and post inside the chat. Nugget says, you can sell the leads? Yes, you can actually sell the leads. So that's a great business in and of itself. Absolutely. Love it. Go ahead and post which one best describes you of the 5 types of business. So again, they are, one more time, you can sell e-commerce, digital products, client services, local small business, lead generation. Let me know which type of business best describes you. Go ahead inside the chat. Like this, physical clients, B2C, getting clients, number 2, number 5, good mix here, 1 book, physical, 1, getting clients, digital products, coaching, consulting, 1, awesome, e-com, 3, 5, 4, 2 and 3, 3, digital products, 2, 3, B2B, just getting started, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we got a good mix here today. Loving the engagement, by the way, guys. This is exciting. This is awesome. What about those of you who are complete beginners? Right? I know some of you are saying, but wait, I'm a complete beginner. Well, here's what I want to give you. I want to give you right now what I consider to be the 3 fastest paths to cash if you are a beginner. So the 3 fastest paths to cash if you are a beginner. And we're going to stay right here in the iPad for just a second as I pull something up. 3 fastest paths to cash if you are a beginner. Beginning with number 1. 3 fastest path to cash on the screen right now. 3 fastest path to cash. Number 1 is what we call a pre-launch quiz. Let's talk a little bit about what that is. Pre-launch quiz. Okay. Pre-launch quiz is, bear with me one second as I pull this all together. Pre-launch quiz is before you launch your business, before you launch your product, you might ask yourself, what's the most important thing that you need to have? If I could have any advantage in the world, right? If most people say if there's one thing that they could have, what would that thing be? Well, for me, it's very easy. I would want to have a starving crowd, a line of people out the door. Think about it. If you're launching a new restaurant, what's the most important thing? Is it, having a top chef? Is it having beautiful tables? Is it having nice decorations? No, it's none of those things. It's having a line of starving people who are out the door, wrapped around the parking lot, right? Who are waiting for you to open your doors. And that's exactly what a pre-launch quiz does. It creates a starving crowd, a line of people out the door before you actually launch. And you've seen some examples of businesses that I've talked about who have used this exact strategy. Like, for example, on my screen right now, you can see that Why You Still Single quiz created by Jamal in the Christian single market. Jamal, when he launched his business, he had no product, no website, no nothing. But what he did was he had a line of people out the door. And he used that quiz to create a pre-launch group, a pre-launch list of people, and he asked those people what they were struggling with, what they needed help with, and he created a product that served that need. And that business, that product, allowed him to go from making $17 an hour working at a nonprofit to making over $500,000 per year. Here's another example of a pre-launch quiz. This here is Beverly Asante Pushman. Beverly wanted to write a book. The only problem is she didn't have an audience for her book. So she decided to build a pre-launch list of people for her running book called Ace the Half, How to Run a Half Marathon. And she literally went from no list, no business, no nothing to becoming a #1 Amazon bestseller. Why? Because she created a pre-launch list of people through her quiz. And when her book was ready to release, she released it to that line of people out the door, and the book became a #1 bestseller. I shared Dr. Tangi Watkins' story not that long ago. No business, no website, no experience, no product, no nothing. And she created a quiz to build a pre-launch list of people and made over $20,000 as a coach in her very first month. And we have people in all sorts of different markets, like Lynette, first online sale ever, using this strategy. You can see right here, Linda, first 3 sales, $2,700 in less than 10 days. You can see here, this is Lisa, first 9 sales in less than a week. Lisa, first $13,000 sale ever. Annaline, $170,000 in a brand new business that previously did not exist. So that's fastest path to cash #1. Now, if we go to the iPad, fastest path to cash #2 is the affiliate quiz. What does this mean exactly? Affiliate quiz is, instead of selling your own product, you find somebody else's product to sell as an affiliate. And the way you can do that is by simply finding a resource online, a marketplace where you can find other people's products to sell as an affiliate. This is one of them. There are sites like ClickBank, sites like Hotmart, sites like Digistore24. This just happens to be ClickBank. You can find products that are for sale that you can sell as an affiliate. Pick a category that you're interested in, identify some of the best-selling products in that category, and create a quiz that asks people a series of questions to recommend the right product for them. Just like one of our students, Robbie Blanchard, did this exact same thing. He's built an entire business around this model. He does a quiz that asks people questions that recommends the right product for them. And these are just other people's products as an affiliate. Here's another example of a quiz. This is Neil Gordon, your public speaker type quiz. Neil was interested in public speaking. It was a topic or subject he was interested in, had no experience himself, created a quiz. There are 5 public speaker types. Which one best describes you? Attract, diagnose, and prescribe. And you can see here, Neil, on the back of this quiz, in case you're wondering, has done over $100,000 a month in revenue selling products on the back of this quiz. We have people who generate upwards of 100,000 leads per day selling other people's products as an affiliate. So the fast path to cash number 2 is, instead of creating your own product, sell someone else's product as an affiliate. Now that takes us to fastest path to cash number 3. Fastest path to cash number 3 is what we call building quizzes for clients. Instead of building quizzes for your own business, build a quiz for a client. You can build quizzes for somebody else. There are far more businesses out there that have more money than time. They'd rather just pay someone $10,000 or more to create and build an entire quiz for them. In fact, this is exactly what I did for years. I shared my story a little bit earlier. I was a quiz builder for years for other companies. And I would charge, $50,000 up front, $5,000 a month retainer, 5% royalty on gross sales. By the end, the projects that I would take on were earning me over $250,000 a year. I'd make a few $1,000s a month to tens of thousands of dollars a month in royalties. Well, we have clients of ours, students of ours, who have gone through our training and our programs who now do this very thing, selling for a few $1,000s a month, tens of thousands of dollars or more. People like Adam. You can see here, Adam decided to take this fast path to cash, and while he was building his own business, decided to, I'm learning how to build quiz funnels. I might as well monetize my knowledge, monetize my expertise. That's exactly what he did. First quiz ever that he created, first client ever, a $10,000 quiz. No prior experience, just went through our training, went through our process, used our technology, and built quizzes, started building quizzes for other people. This is Marvin, unless you think that you might be too old to start this. This is Marvin, he's 62 years old. He didn't even know what a quiz funnel was a few years ago. Now he's earning more than $15,000 per quiz for every quiz that he sells. So for those of you who are beginners right now, my challenge, my question to you is, what is your fastest path to cash? Are you going to create a pre-launch quiz? Are you going to create an affiliate quiz? Are you going to do quizzes for clients? Maybe all of the above. If you are a beginner and you don't have a business right now, which of these paths is most interesting or most appealing to you? Take a moment to, inside the chat, let me know. Is it the pre-launch quiz? Is it the affiliate quiz? Is it the quizzes for clients? Or is it some combination of the above? Go ahead inside the chat. Let me know which of the following best describes you. I love seeing this right now. Christy says pre-launch quiz. Carol says pre-launch quiz. Abby says quiz builder. Susan says quiz builder. Build for business. Pre-launch says Deb. Pre-launch quiz says Cindy. Pre-launch quiz says Catherine. Rashida. Pre-launch quiz. Pre-launch quiz. Lacey. Christina, Carmen, pre-launch quiz. A lot of us doing pre-launch quiz. 1 and 3, 1, Nugget, 1 and 2, pre-launch quiz, 1, Nugget, pre-launch quiz, 1 but 2, 1, 2 and 3, 1 and 3. So we got a great combination of us here today. This is great. I love it. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna talk a little bit about where you go from here. What is the best next step? How do you prepare yourself and how do you get the most out of our next few days together? And what comes next? Well, up until this point, we have talked about all the different ways that a quiz funnel can be used. And your homework assignment here today, which I'll get to in just a moment, is to get clarity on how you're going to be using your quiz. So in other words, if we go to my iPad right now, if you have an existing business right now, what are you going to be selling? What are you going to be using your quiz for? Is it going to be to sell a physical product, a digital product? Are you going to be using it to get clients? Are you going to be using it to promote your local business? Is it going to be to drive lead generation? Or if you are a total beginner, are you going to be using your quiz for a pre-launch list, to do an affiliate quiz, quizzes for clients? Or is it going to be some combination? You want to get really clear on this point and know exactly what it is that you are going to be using your quiz for, because in our second session, we're going to be diving into actually creating your quiz. We're going to be coming up with what your quiz topic is going to be, the big idea behind your quiz, what you're going to be selling on the back of your quiz, and how it all fits together. But there's one last thing that I want to do before we move forward, and that is as follows. You have to bear with me 1 second because we've lost power. We are on generator right now. It is about 110 degrees right now. It's getting a little bit warm, so my brain is going as best as it possibly can given the conditions that we have right now. And what I want to draw your attention to is, if you haven't done so already, to make sure that you take a moment to get access to the 18 proven quiz funnel templates on this page right here, because this is what's going to give you some insight and some ideas on what your quiz might be. And I just want to walk through how to use this resource to the best of your ability. So you'll see a document that looks like this. So again, this is at the bottom of the page, 18 proven quiz funnel templates, but it's actually so much more than that. In this document, what you're going to see is a whole bunch of different examples for all different types of quizzes. We're going to recap some of what we talked about, why quizzes are so effective. You're going to see, like, for example, some of the examples that I've shared with you, like an example of a coaching quiz. This is Maeve. You can see Maeve's funnel canvas. In case you're wondering what technology is this all built in, this is all built in Bucket.io. This is the technology that every single one of the examples we're going to be sharing is using to get these results. This is one of the secret weapons, the secret pieces to making it all work. For those of you asking, where are these templates from and what technology can you use? This is all built in Bucket. It is the technology that is the #1 leader in the world for this specific use case, this specific purpose. There might be other tools out there that serve other purposes, but this is what every single one of these examples is using. So you can see Maeve's quiz landing page, her questions, the outcome pages. You can see this is Raphael. He used his quiz to 10x his retainer at his agency, and he's in Italy, by the way. You can see his quiz here. This is Donna. I mentioned Donna, former school teacher, with her saxophone quiz. You can see, as I continue to scroll here, this is Carrie, and her quiz built her membership to over $230,000 per month in revenue, in part by the leads that she's helped to generate through this quiz. You can see, for example, this is Joe and how she made more money in a week when she transitioned from offline to online through her quiz. So for those of you who have an offline business and you want to transfer that business online, she made over $50,000 in less than a week using an online assessment. You can see, what else? You can see here, a spiritual coach created a 6-figure income in 3 months, growing her list from 5,000 to over 85,000 people on the back of her quiz. Let's see. We've heard about Marvin's story. We've heard about Adam's story, Gabby and Louise. We heard about Jody and her story. So there's dozens of stories and examples of quizzes that you can actually see. I encourage you to use them as inspiration and study them for when it comes to coming up with what your quiz might be, because that's what we're doing in our second session in the second training in this workshop. But there's one last thing that I want to draw your attention to, and this is at the very, very end of this document, and it's something that I want to invite you to use as part of your homework between now and our session. And that is to get clear on where you're sending people next. So in order to be successful with your quiz, you need to know exactly where you're sending people who take your quiz after they've finished. And if we come to me here for just a minute, what you're going to find is that there are 5 big outcomes, 5 different places that you can send people to after they take your quiz. And we're going to go through what these are right now. And this is what I want you to reflect on tonight, is which one makes the most sense for you. Okay, 5 big outcomes. The first outcome is what we call, number 1, to join whatever it is that you want them to join. It could be to join your list. It could be to join your group. It could be to join your community. What is the thing that you want people to join? Okay? Are you inviting people to take your quiz so they join that next step? Maybe it's to join your challenge or join your Facebook group or join a community that you've created. So that's number 1. Option number 2 is to buy your product right then and there. So maybe you want people to buy your product right after they take your quiz. And that is the next step that you want to invite people to take. So that might be to buy. It might be to watch your video, to watch a sales presentation, to watch a video that you use to indirectly sell your product or service as the next step. So get people to watch that. Maybe it's to attend a workshop or a webinar that you are delivering and you're using your quiz to build more leads. We do a lot of this in our business. We use a quiz as a stair step into a webinar or a workshop. And then last but not least, maybe you want to use your quiz to book an appointment, to get people to book a call with you, to get on the phone with you and book a one-on-one. So what you want to be thinking about is which of these next steps makes the most sense for you, because it's going to impact the quiz that we start working on creating in our next session together. And I'll give you a kind of a little bit of a tip on this, and I'll just remove that so I have a little bit more space to work. The tip is as follows. If you are selling a low-priced product, so under $100, say, this might be a good path for you. If you're selling something that is perhaps in the hundreds of dollars, you might invite people to watch a video because they need a little bit more education in order to buy. They're not going to just take a quiz on their cell phone and spend a few $100s with you. They need to have some form of education. You might want to get someone to attend a workshop or a webinar if you're selling something maybe in the thousands of dollars. And then last but not least, if you're selling something in the tens of thousands of dollars, then typically you are going to need to get someone on a one-on-one call with either you or a member of your team and have that conversation with them. So, homework assignment here tonight, 5 big outcomes. Which one do you think makes the most sense for you? Is it to join your list or group or community? Is it to buy your product right then and there if you're selling like a very inexpensive, low-priced product? Is it to watch your video that's going to educate people on what you're selling? Do you want to get people to attend that webinar or workshop in order for them to experience what it's like working with you? Or is it a way to book an appointment so that someone gets on the phone with you or on Zoom with you or a member of your team and has that one-on-one? So you want to get clear tonight between now and our next session on what that next big outcome is for you. All right, what I want to do now in the time that we have remaining is talk about next steps and where to go from here. So a few important next steps. I know we've covered a lot of ground. It's like chaos right now with the generator going. I've got a cord that's coming in. The lights are flickering. It's 110 degrees out here. I'm obviously sweating like crazy right now. It's a little bit chaotic right now, but there are some important things that I want to wrap with before we finish our time. So thing number one is, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you join the Facebook group. Again, the link is quizfunnel.com/Facebook. And the reason why you want to go to quizfunnel.com/Facebook, and we'll try to, if we can, put it up on the screen if we're able to, quizfunnel.com/Facebook, is because inside the Facebook group, we have a live Q&A happening tomorrow. Now, tomorrow's session is going to be very different. I know today was like drinking from the fire hose. You're like taking it all in, trying to scramble and take as many notes as possible. But tomorrow, we have a bonus Q&A session, same time, same place. But this is going to be your opportunity to ask questions of me. So questions that you might have had about something that we covered here today. And you can go to the post that we have inside the Facebook group by going to the link quizfunnel.com/question. That's quizfunnel.com/question. And what you're going to find is inside our Facebook group, there's a post that looks a little something like this. It says, "Got questions? Post your question below and I'll answer them on tomorrow's Q&A call." So this is your opportunity to post your question. Find this post, again, quizfunnel.com/question, and I'll be taking questions. You just got to pre-submit your questions and I'll cover as many of them as we have time for in tomorrow's session. And by the way, as you see someone else's question that maybe you're like, oh, that's a good question, I'd love to know the answer to that. If you click the like button, that lets me know that, ooh, that's a question you'd also like to see the answer to. So click the like button or love button on any other questions that you want to see the answer to, and that'll help me curate the questions and cover the ones that are going to be as most helpful to as many people as possible. All right, so that's the second thing. Thing number 3 is, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you sign up for that secret text message thread, and here's the reason why. There are 3 things you're going to get access to when you sign up for this secret text thread that I will send you a text message to get access to. Thing number 1, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is the 101 Quiz Funnel Ideas resource, which is here on the screen, which will give you a whole bunch of ideas for what your quiz might be. This is a great starting point for coming up with your big idea behind your quiz and what your quiz topic is going to be. It's a great resource for you to get access to. You're also going to get access to that visual guide of Quiz Funnels Explained, the ultimate illustrated guide. So this is great if you're more of a visual learner and you like to kind of see all the pieces together. This is a great resource for you here today. But the next thing that you're going to get access to when you take time to join that secret text message thread is you're going to get access to, on my iPad here, all of my notes from today. In fact, I will give you all of my notes to every session when you sign up for this text message thread. They'll be sent to you after this session here today. You'll get access to my notes here today. Again, the link is quizfunnel.com/text. And all you need to do is when you get to this page right here, put your email address and your phone number, and we'll text you access. You'll click this big orange button that says join thread, and you'll get access to everything that I have mentioned. All right, we are going to wrap with one final exercise in our closing minutes. But I know some of you have asked, if I've got someone that I'd like to share this workshop with, is there a special link that I can share with them so that they can participate and get access to all these goodies, all the resources, all the PDFs, all the examples, all the templates? And the answer is yes. If you use the link quizfunnel.com/friendpass, so for your friends, and you go to that page, it's going to take you to a screen that looks a little something like this. And you're going to notice that there's an opportunity to type in the coupon code FriendPass. Well, when you share this with your friends, if you've got someone who you think, oh, they might be able to benefit from this, they might want to get access to this, you can post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, post it on LinkedIn, share it with your friends, share it with your family, send a private message, text message, email to people that you think might benefit from this. Invite them to type in the code FriendPass, and it'll take their ticket price down from $100 down to $0. So they'll be able to attend this workshop for free, and they'll be able, just like you, to catch the replays of the sessions this week only. So I know some of you are saying, oh, I want to rewatch today's session. Can I rewatch it? The answer is yes, this week only until Saturday. That's it. And then this all goes away. So that link is quizfunnel.com/friendpass. All right, we got one final order of business here, and that is to take a moment to look at all of your notes, all of your learning, everything that you've written down, everything that you've studied, and take a moment to share your single biggest takeaway. And the way that we do this is as follows. Use the hashtag takeaway, one word, hashtag takeaway, and based on everything that we've covered, all the ideas, all the examples, all of the notes that you took, the 5 types of businesses, the 3 fastest paths to cash, the 6 ways to know if a quiz is right for you, the 3 psychological forces, the 3 reasons why quizzes are so effective, all of the tips, the tactics, the examples, the insights, the observations, the ideas that are flowing through your head about what your quiz could be part of by looking at so many different examples in today's first session. What has been your single biggest takeaway here today? Take a moment inside the chat to post your single biggest takeaway. Use the word takeaway, all caps, the hashtag. Again, there are points for participation and there are prizes at stake. So the more you participate, the better chances you have to win. Take a moment now, share your single biggest takeaway, and I'll read a few of these off before I leave you with one final goodie before we wrap our time here today. So I'm going to take a look at the screen inside a live chat and see what we've got. Takeaway, quiz, conversation, gets them engaged. Love it. Takeaway, 3 fastest paths to cash. Quite a few of us with those takeaways. Takeaway are the 3 psychological forces, says Eva. Takeaway, Kathy says all of the above. Eva says the 5 big outcomes. Rael says takeaway, pre-launch. Takeaway, the 3 reasons why quizzes. Takeaway, this is exciting. Yes. Takeaway, 6 ways to know if a quiz is right for me. Takeaway, ADP. Takeaway, utilizing zero-party data. That's a good one. Takeaway, I need a quiz funnel in my life. Takeaway, relaunching my book. Love it. Takeaway, great hole in the parts. Love it, love it, love it. Takeaway, I can do this. Love it. Takeaway, sounds like a no-brainer to be implementing this. Indeed. Can be a great way to get new clients. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Love all of these takeaways right here. Now, I want to give you a preview of what we're going to be covering in day 2. So today was all about kind of infusing your mind with the possibilities. On day 2, we're actually going to go through the process of figuring out what your quiz is going to be about. I'm going to take you through the 3-step process for creating a quiz funnel. We're going to talk about the 3 different types of quizzes. That's right, there are 3 types of quizzes. and we're going to help you decide which one is right for you. I'm going to show you how you can test your quiz idea before you actually create it so that you know that your quiz is going to be a winner before you actually build it. We're going to go through many, many, many more examples. We're going to talk about all sorts of different mistakes that people make when it comes to creating a quiz, because at this point in the conversation, many people either have one of two reactions. They either say, oh my gosh, this is a lot, or oh, this is so easy. How hard could it be? And that's where mistakes are made. So we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes to watch out for when it comes to creating your quiz and what to do instead. And it all happens in our second session, which is happening on Wednesday. Remember, tomorrow is a Q&A call. It's going to be a different type of call. It's going to be more informal. It's going to be sort of an unplugged call, so to speak. But it's going to be your opportunity to get your questions answered from me. So we're going to cover that in the Q&A call tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to be picking up by talking about your quiz big idea, how to come up with the big idea behind your quiz step by step. And then we're going to continue the journey from there. But I always love to end on a note of inspiration. And you've heard about an example of someone who has used a quiz funnel in today's session. And I thought it would be cool to hear not from my words, but from this person's words on what this quiz funnel has done for them. And you can see a little bit of a look inside their life. So as we wrap things up here today, I want to leave you with this final gift of a story of someone who's used a quiz funnel to transform his and his family's life. So let's take it away.
So it was the night of July 21st, and my webinar was scheduled. I'm actually on the webinar, and Natasha goes into labor. My mom was there, and I'm like, babe, I just have to finish this webinar. And my mom gets Natasha to the hospital, and a friend of mine is like, bro, Natasha is going into labor. The baby's about to be here. So I rush through the webinar, and I get to the hospital. And I remember, I get to see Melody being born. And it was then that I had to think to myself, I almost missed her birth because of a webinar. And that's when I knew something needed to change. I was what we like to call single as a dollar bill. I was like, why am I still single? What am I doing wrong? And I remember in the moment of prayer, I was talking to God, and I was like, God, am I missing something? I don't know, where is she? What is she gonna look like? Did I miss her already? Like, please help me. And I remember God saying to me, Jamal, you're so focused on getting married. You have no idea what it takes to stay married.
Okay, how much she love you, be ready to go follow.
And this took me on a 1.5-year journey of learning how to have a successful marriage, because I saw that a lot of people's marriages don't go bad, they start bad. During that journey, I ended up finding my wife. We actually met on Facebook. We got married and filmed our story, and we call it the Facebook Love Story.
Hey everybody, it's Jamal.
Hi, I'm Natasha.
And this is the story of how we met.
It was cool because people all around the world began to take notice. And that's when someone was like, well, time out. Is this real? Is this a joke? And I looked at my wife, I was like, babe, these people really think that marriage is not working anymore. And so I said, let's create something. We ended up creating this brand called Married and Young. I had no idea what a blog was. I didn't have a background in marketing, no business degree. I was a ministry kid, so creating the blog was very new for me. At this point, it was simply just to help people to kind of change the narrative about marriage in our generation. One of my mentors calls me and he was like, hey, I saw you launch this blog. How many people are reading it? I was like, man, it's super cool. We got like 13,000 readers right now. And he's like, Jamal, you could be rich. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean rich? Like, how do you get rich off? We're just posting blogs on the internet. Like, how does that turn into money? I had no idea. And he's like, you don't have just a blog, you have a business. I was like, a business? He goes, yes, you have an online business. You need to monetize. And that's when I created my first book. At this point in our journey, we're at 40,000 people a month coming into our website. So in my mind, I'm like, if I can just get 39,000 of them to buy the book, we're rich. Like, this is it. This is gonna be our big moment of breakthrough. And I don't know what it is about writing books that we all think that it's just immediately gonna turn into dollars. Well, it didn't happen. We made about $3,000 and a moment of reality hit. That maybe this is not going to work the way I thought. And I kind of made a decision. I have a family to take care of. I'm a married man. My wife wants a kid. We need to get some things and some priorities in place. So I quit. and I left and went to a new job, making $17 an hour. And Natasha is 6 months pregnant, and we ended up finding a way to make money through webinars. But it was not abundance, it was not overflowing. We were stuck in the same cycle every single week, going from webinar to webinar, and it was getting old. And also one of the things that it began to do was every week, I felt like I was having to sell my soul. And I remember at the point that she's about to have a baby, I literally was like, something has to change once Melody gets here. If I would have missed Melody's birth because of a webinar, I don't think I ever would have been able to forgive myself, you know, because that would have been like the ultimate moment of me putting money before family. And it was actually after Melody was born, I made the decision to join the Ask Method Masterclass. It was one of those moments like I kind of felt like I was led to do it, because one of the first things I was most excited about was to create a quiz, and within the first week, we generate 10,000 leads from this quiz. And that's when I knew, oh my goodness, we have a real business on our hands. It was cool because now we have these 10,000 people that we were able to do the DDS on. I went from making $17 an hour to generating at that same year, within 3 months, creating a product that would end up helping us to generate over $600,000 in revenue, simply because I now knew how to ask my audience the right questions to create the exact products that they need to solve their problems. We literally have over 4,000 people that we serve on a monthly basis. And then as well, we now are taking what we've done successfully in the singles brand and now able to serve other niches and other demographics at a higher level, because we know how to figure out what they want. The future is so bright because it isn't just staying in one business. We're creating multiple businesses that will be able to continue to help change the world. You hear most people, it's during their child's younger lives that they had to really sacrifice to be able to build a business. Now their kids are older and they regret the time they didn't get to spend with them when they were younger. Well, I don't want to have that story. My girls are my life. I get to share the world with them, because to me, memories are so much more valuable than money. And we get to create memories with them whenever we want. And my business is providing that freedom to be able to do that.